Συνεχίζουμε με την επόμενη κυρία, την κυρία Julia Barbano, StepUP Project Coordinator, R&D Project Manager, Integrated Environmental Solutions Limited.
Good morning. Thank you.
Καλησπέρα σας.
Καλησπέρα.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. And as you said, yes, I will be presenting the StepUP project. The StepUP project is a research project funded by the European Commission under the Horizon 2020 program. And I am the coordinator on behalf of the whole consortium. I will explain to you a little bit about what our project is about and what results we have achieved so far. The project has now been running already for a year and a half, although in very difficult conditions, as you can imagine. But we have some interesting results that I think answer some of the questions and points that have been brought on in the previous presentations. So the main idea of the StepUP project is to provide reliable and cost-effective solutions to decarbonize existing buildings. And I will go through overall the general overview of the project. I will present the partners and say a little bit of the context quite quickly, and then I will go more in detail on the objectives of the projects and these main results that we already have. So our methodology, our solutions, technologies, and the pilots where we're going to demonstrate these solutions. So as I mentioned before, StepUP is funded by the Horizon 2020 program of the European Commission. I'm sure you've heard more about this earlier in the morning from previous speakers focusing on the European approaches. Of course, Horizon 2020 is now over and moving on to Horizon Europe. But when our project was funded, the aim was to offer a response to the question, the basic question on how to decarbonize the European building stock, the existing building stock, but changing the market for building renovation. So the market approach is very important for our project. As I said, we've started over a year and a half ago, and we'll be continuing our work until 2023. We are 10 partners in 7 European countries and all over from the Mediterranean to Ireland. And we have a very industry-focused consortium. We have 1 large company and 5 SMEs, 1 nonprofit partner, a research partner, and public owner and construction contractor. So we are very oriented to the to representing the full supply chain and innovation in renovation market. So as you know, and I will not spend too much on this because I'm sure you've seen this presented before, the Renovation Wave is the current initiative of the European Commission to increase the rate and the quality of renovation in Europe. This is because, and this ties into what Victoria was saying before as well, we have the technology to do deep renovation. We have the technology to get our buildings very, very close to net zero. And yet this is not happening. We still see renovation rates at 1%, which is nowhere near enough getting a full decarbonization of the building stock by 2050. So what do we want to do in StepUP? We want to make sure that deep renovation of a building is an investment that is considered to be reliable, it's attractive, and can be sustainable. So we're looking at this from the process point of view, and we're looking at this from the point of view of having iterative, continuous feedback loops and look at all the phases of the renovation process to make sure that we improve on all of them and are able to make it a more accessible process for the whole supply chain. So our 5 objectives are, first of all, the overarching objective, as I said, is to make renovation an attractive and reliable investment. And we want to do it by we're developing a new methodology that is deeply rooted into data in near real time from the building. So we have to know what happens before we make any kind of decision. We want to reduce the performance gap, so the difference between the design and the actual performance of the building. We want to optimize the investment, developing innovative financial models which take into account the specific nature of deep renovation. And we want to spend as least time as possible on site to reduce the impact on the occupants of existing buildings, with modular renovation packages that are plug and play, and accelerate the renovation market by making these technologies interoperable with the broader market of renovation technologies. So the methodology, as I said, is iterative, is a continuous cycle, and it's rooted into knowing how the building is performing, defining the needs, the high priorities, what is going to give me the best value in making my building better performing, low and using less carbon. So once we have that, and we do this based on information that we have on the building, then we can set up a renovation process. We can design the renovation using a digital twin of the building. We can assess the potential renovation scenarios with a high reliability. Once we have that, we can decide which are the key energy conservation measures for our building, choose the technologies from the plug-and-play panel that is developed both within the project and in the broader market. We deploy them and we optimize their operation. And we start again from looking at how the building is performing for an iterative process of continuous improvement. So this approach we have laid out into a public report. It's the integrated draft of the SEPA methodology and its companion document discussing the data infrastructure requirements. So this report looks at the scope of the methodology, its boundaries, and discusses all the various phases of renovation. And it's, as I said, it's a public document, and we are very, very interested in getting this out to stakeholders in the value chain, to people who are considering renovation, especially owners, technical experts working on renovation. So we're happy to distribute this with you. Get in touch, and we want to hear what you think of our methodology approach. Then we have 4 supporting solutions to the methodology. As I said, the first 2 are technical and are happening directly on the building. The first one is a plug-and-play envelope system. This is a deep decarbonization solution in the sense that it looks at reducing drastically the demand by providing improving the insulation of buildings. And it's a pre-assembled envelope panel that integrates the windows. It includes provisions for technical systems. Then we have the SmartHeat Solution. This is a solution to store thermal energy generated from renewable sources on site and deliver those at the best times of the building to deliver this at the best times when the demand is high to optimize the renewable production on site. Then we have innovative financing tools for deep renovation, such as smart energy performance contracts that capture the complexities of renovation. And all of this is rooted into data intelligence and digital twins based on physics modeling to make sure that every time we make a decision, we know we can forecast it accurately. We know this is how the building is going to behave. So I will show you now a quick video. It's a time lapse of the mock-up of the plug-and-play envelope that our partner Manni has developed. Manni is an Italian company that has been working on this prefabricated facade. As you can see now, this is 45 square meters of facade. It had been assembled in the workshop in 6 days by 2 people. And now the installation on site by those 2 people plus 1 crane operator took them roughly 1 day. So you can see how really fast and effective is this technology. Then the SmartHeat Solution, as I mentioned before, this is our way. It's produced by Suntherm, an innovative SME from Denmark, and it's a solution to produce and store energy, heating from renewable sources, especially from solar sources during the day when there's a higher generation potential, store it into heat storage batteries that are PCM based, and then distribute that heat over the day, especially in the night, etc., when there is a higher demand of heating. And this is something that has already been deployed in smaller buildings, and now we're looking at expanding to buildings like apartment blocks or schools, etc. So this brings me to presenting you quickly the pilots of the SEPA project. We are looking to demonstrate in 3 different buildings. They are very different amongst them by climate and type of views, because we want to really try a full extent of the typologies of building that need renovation in Europe. So we are looking at public non-residential buildings in Hungary, at rental private office buildings in the UK, and the multifamily residential apartment tower in Spain. So our pilot in Hungary is the Zdengrad Kindergarten. This is in the 18th district of Budapest, and is a very, very typical case of deep renovation public buildings. So it's a kindergarten from the 60s. It has very, very poor envelope and massive heat loss, both to the roof and the walls. So while the windows were changed a few years back, they're still a very, very poor energy performance. So here we're looking at both installing the envelope, the plug-and-play envelope, and insulating the roof, but also installing the SmartHeat system, changing the heat distribution, and installing PV panels. So we're looking here at very deep decarbonization and how this kind of solutions can work for public authorities. Then we have the ISR Office Headquarters. This is a virtual pilot. We will not be doing installations on the building, but we have a very detailed digital twin of the building, and to try and test how the building would react on different solutions. And this is particularly interesting because it's a typical case of rental. So we have the so-called split incentives, where we have an owner and a renter who benefit differently from energy renovation measures. And then finally, our pilot in Spain, in Pamplona, is the omnipresent apartment tower, which is the most common, by far, I think, building in Europe. And it has absolutely no insulation. So it's very, very poor air tightness, very high energy consumption. So here we're looking at a drastic increase of the energy performance as well. So I will leave you then with the links to our website, and ask you to come follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and follow the developments of the project.
Ms. Barbano, thank you indeed for this fruitful presentation.
Thank you.
We do appreciate your participation. We don't see any questions. We have one. How does the commercialization of the StepUP technology look for the future?
So what we're looking at is building what we're calling technology provider clusters. So we want to create these groups of innovative solution providers who work together in different markets. And the idea is that we will be publishing a protocol for technology intercompatibility, so that when you develop a renovation technology, you know that your technology is going to work with other people's technologies, and you can go to the market confident that you will be able to provide a solution that is compatible with the others. We do have an article on this on our website. We have a blog section with dedicated articles on some key topics, and we present this third-party market approach in one of them, which I think is going to be very transformative, especially when you have innovative SMEs, etc., who don't necessarily reach a broader market at their national level, but if they network and can work together, they can offer almost plug-and-play solution to owners.
Great. Thank you for your answer.
It's a very good question. Thank you.